Heyo everyone, Misha be Barkin here. Furlandia 2023 was the second con I'd ever been to, and was the first con since COVID. While being a smaller convention than some of the bigger names you may be familiar with at just over 1,000 attendees, that year I still managed to meet up with some friends and make new ones, and even ran into some of the people who follow me and watch my content. With the con being in Portland and me being based in Washington, it's close enough for me to drive to, which was definitely a good motivator for me to return for another year. While I couldn't attend in 2024 due to scheduling conflicts, this year ended up being different, so I booked my hotel, packed up my suits, loaded up my car, and I was off. So how was it compared to 2 years ago? How much had the con changed and grown? Did I still have as good of a time as in 2023? Find out all of that and more as I talk about my time at Furlandia 2023 in Portland, Oregon. Day 0, or Thursday, was my travel day to get to the con, so at around noon I loaded everything up, filled my car up, and said my goodbyes to Maple and Argo before setting off the near 4-hour drive ahead of me. As much as I'd wanted Argo to come with me, we both decided that while he was done with his treatments, it was still too close to have him go to an event with crowds that big. Plus he'd have to get the time off, and someone needed to watch Maple. It ended up making more sense if he stayed behind. So this was a solo venture. The drive was honestly gorgeous, and one I wouldn't mind doing again. Turns out I like doing long drives, and going along the waterside on I-82 is up there in my favorite drives. That is, until I got to Portland. I don't know what was going on, if it was just because of rush hour traffic, Memorial Day, or driving in Portland just generally sucks, but I ran into a standstill of traffic when I was a mere 5 minutes away from the con. The last bit of a trip took an additional 20 minutes, which was killing me. I was so close, I was so excited, I could have jumped out of the car and ran and been there quicker than sitting in the traffic jam, but I waited patiently, and before I knew it, I was at Furlandia.
Hello. I have to switch modes from normal person in civilization to con mode, but hello. It is day 0 of Furlandia. I just got to my room. Well, I got to my room like an hour ago, but I checked. Oh, we're supposed to be in portrait. Editing Misha, turn it over right here. I just got into my room like an hour ago. I've just been kind of vibing, kind of setting everything up, unpacking. Yeah, and I'm gonna go head down and see if anyone's hanging out anywhere. I got a couple of friends that are also here, so we'll see if they want to hang out. But yeah, looking forward to the con.
I was in the Hilton this year, which is the overflow hotel next to the con, and I had a room all to myself, baby. Don't get me wrong, I love Solace, Quinn, and Stripe, but I also loved having a room all to myself where I could come back and de-suit, recharge, and prepare myself for the busyness of the con floor. I also kept the room at 60 degrees. Feel free to fight about that in the comments. I will simply ignore your complaints while I thrive in my ice castle. Anyways, I took a quick shower and headed down to the con floor to vibe on my own for a little bit. I got a message from someone named Hoof and House Studios asking if I was sitting across from them, and looked up to see someone looking at me. So I got up and sat with them, and boom, new friends on day 0. The other person sitting there gave me a goodie bag too, which I'll show off later, but the best things were this tech deck and the T-Rex. This baby thing was also there too. Anyways, they actually ended up opening Reg for sponsors and patrons that night, so I was actually able to Reg early and get my badge the night before. After that, I ended up getting food and headed back to my hotel room before turning in early. I had a long and eventful weekend ahead of me, so I wanted to get all the sleep night 1 that I could get. Except that I forgot my melatonin, and rest assured, I got little to no sleep that entire weekend. Day 1 of Furlandia started pretty slow, with me suiting up as Misha and getting there pretty early in the day. Reg wasn't until 10, but I went down at around 8 to vibe and people watch while I drank my Rockstar. Oh, I also showered beforehand, and I do have an update on the drainage situation from 2 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give an update. I'm in the Hilton this year, and it does, in fact, drain. Look at that baby go. Yeah.
Anyways, after a bit, who else would swing by and say hi but Buddy the dog? Buddy's another content creator and someone we talked with on my podcast Bark Bark Meow. We said hi, got pictures, and built more lore along the way before he had to head off. I also saw my suit maker, Dragon Girl Studio, walk towards the artist alley, and she had an amazing looking pre-made that she was going to put up for sale. It was shortly after this that I got a text from Mex saying he was heading down. Mex is a great friend I've made through making videos, as he's also a furry content creator. We did a video together on his channel that you should totally check out after this one. He was also Furlandia's guest of honor for being a fursuit dancer, and was a judge for both the dance comp and floor wars. Anyways, he came down and we met in person for the very first time. My favorite part about furry cons is that moment after meeting your friends that you had online for a long time, because you finally have a name to a face. You hear them talking and you're just kind of like, Holy shit, you're real. Mex was also joined by Mort, another person who would become a great friend by the end of the weekend. We found somewhere to sit for a while before Mex asked if I wanted to get coffee with him, Mort, Glacier, and their fourth friend, JD Puppy. JD Puppy is a friend of Solace's and someone I'd seen a lot online, as he's a really good dancer for her, which makes sense why him and Mex are friends. So we set off to get Dutch Bros nearby, and it was really good. Dutch Bros is good if you're not looking for coffee, but looking for a very sugary drink, which I was. If you want coffee that actually tastes like coffee, it's probably best to go somewhere else though. We got back and the four of them headed back up to their room, so I took that time to meet up with Luca. Luca's a friend of Argo's, and I'll see him in chat from time to time, so I was really excited to come say hi. We kept trying to make plans together the whole weekend, but none of them solidified, so if you're watching this, Luca, I am so sorry. I owe you a drink when we're both at a con together in the future. After that was my first trip to the dealer's den, which I'll talk about and show off my goodies towards the end of the video. I spent way too much money and headed back up to my hotel room to vibe for a bit, then hopped on my laptop to do the After Bark episode for Bark Bark Meow. We premiere the episodes every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, then afterwards we go live together and discuss the episode, our live, and anything chat wants to talk about. We wrapped up the live stream at around 6 p.m. because Solace had to stream and I had to head off to a friend's party. While I didn't know a lot of people there and I am super shy, I still talked to some people and opened up a bit by the end of the party. The alcohol definitely helped. During the party though, I had to leave for about an hour to go to Mex's Bad Movie panel. We watched a movie called Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, a movie from 2001? There's no way. I genuinely thought this movie was made like the 70s. I was not expecting it to be made after the turn of the century. That aside, Mex nailed it, because this movie was in fact bad.
Obey me, or I'll...
Fool! You skinny, bony jackass! Stop it or you'll spoil everything! I will get the...
Thomas Terrarium myself. I cannot wait so long. She will help me, the housewifely one. Hi, Betty. It's I, the skeleton. Fetch the meteor, Betty. Fetch the meteor.
The Betty one looks drowsy. Now is the time to exert more than mind power on her.
Very well.
I must go to bed and make some coffee now.
Bring the meteor to the skeleton. Bring the meteor to the skeleton.
Bring the atmosphere to Crowbar and Lattice. Bring the atmosphere to Crowbar and Lattice.
Bring the meteor to the skeleton. Bring the meteor to the skeleton.
Bring the atmosphere to Crowbar and Lattice. Bring the atmosphere to Crowbar and Lattice.
Bring the meteor.
Basically, from what I understood, there were these aliens that came down and they were looking for something called... Oh god, what was it called? Atmospherium, that's what it was called. I had to look it up. Oh my god. Anyway, the skeleton tells the scientists to look for atmospherium, and the aliens are also trying to look for atmospherium for some other reason that I actually never caught on to. And basically, the skeleton is telling this guy that he has to go get the atmospherium, and they find a scientist that has it, I guess, him and his wife, and so both the aliens and the guy go to the cabin. I didn't write any of this down. I purposely didn't write this down so that this part would suck just as much as the movie. So they all end up in the cabin talking and trying to get the atmospherium while just acting weird as and I genuinely, at one point, this elk turns into a woman and she's making weird noises, and dude, it's on YouTube. Go watch it for yourself. I genuinely cannot explain this plot. There was also the super cute suitor there who I didn't see the rest of the con, but oh my god, I loved this suit. Their tail was so long. Anyways, after this absolute dumpster fire of a movie, I headed back to the party, which was still going strong. I had a lot of fun and was chatting with this one guy before we talked about our lives and told funny or crazy stories from growing up, and that was a ton of fun. The second trip to the room was when I blundered and had a bit too much to drink, as I wasn't drinking enough water while at the party and hadn't really drank since New Year's with Solace. So without going into detail, because this is a family show, we had a rough night. This is your reminder to drink responsibly. I also thought I forgot to record a Friday vlog thing, but, no, I didn't. Enjoy that.
Hello, it's the end of day one. I had a fantastic time. I got to talk to and meet so many friends. Friends new and old, you know. I am definitely sober right now. But yeah, got to meet a bunch of new friends, got to chat with just a bunch of people. I got to meet a bunch of new people too. definitely had a lot of fun. Got to go to a party run by one of my friends, and got to go to the bad movie panel, which I can confirm, Mex, that movie sucked. That was a very bad movie. Good job, you did it. But yeah, looking forward to the rest of Furlandia and editing Misha. Move on to day 2. You did it, buddy. Yeah.
Saturday morning was rough. I felt like the shell of a man and was not ready to get up that morning. I was running on like 3 hours of sleep, a rock star, and pure furry grit when I left that hotel room. This genuinely might be my favorite picture of the weekend because, like, look how cute I look. Just an adorable little puppy with his bone. I was f***ing dying under that suit. There were multiple times where I'd have to step aside from everyone and just before heading back into the fire. All this pain and suffering was for the fursuit photo and parade, which took place at around noon. This was fun, and I ran into some of my best friends Quinn and Stripe while there. They were my roommates during Furlandia 2023 and have been great friends since. I also ran into Jasper. It was kind of funny because we had a few mutuals between us but hadn't ever really interacted with one another till recently, so I was more than excited to finally get to say hi and meet them. He also plays saxophone, so obviously as a fellow sax player, that's a bonus. Anyways, the photo was taken, the parade happened, and it was fun. There was some scheduling issues with the parade, however, as it was supposed to start at 1, but started a half hour earlier than that. And while this was nice for one dying puppy and the other suitors, I'm sure, some people missed out on getting to see the fursuit parade, and that really sucks to hear. Afterwards, I met up with my suit maker Marshall to get the group photo with my suit siblings. There was a quick period between the parade and the dance comp, so I headed back to my hotel room to charge for a bit. Once again, having a hotel room to myself was so nice. I left my room at around 3 o'clock to get to the dance comp that was starting at 3:30, but when I walked in and saw that the line was all the way from the ballroom through the lobby and down the hall towards the hotels, I kinda turned around and went back to my hotel room and took a nap. I'm so sorry, Max. I really did want to go, but I was warm, peopled out, and still feeling slightly off from the night before, and I did not feel like waiting in line for the dance comp. I did watch videos of it, though. It looked like tons of fun, and I am bummed I missed out. Anyways, after my nap, I got some Raising Cane's, and boy, that was needed. I had Raising Cane's at MFF and was honestly not that impressed. The fries were way too soggy, and the chicken was pretty dry. Now, granted, I got it at like almost midnight, so that was more than likely why, but still. This time, though, it was exactly what I needed to revive my mortal body and bring me back to the world of the living. Just in time for a friend's party, too. I wouldn't stay that long, though, as I received a text from Mex asking if I would be able to meet him in the lobby.
So I'm just laying here vibing. This may or may not make the video. That wasn't part of the plan. That's not what I was.
Okay, haunted bathroom aside, that's not what I was gonna say in that video. The point of this video is, my friend Mex and Mort, said they wanted to meet me, and it's like 8:30 or 9, so not really sure what they want, so I'm gonna go figure that out. So yeah, let's go do that.
I found the surprise.
I wonder what's for dinner. My boy. I will take the trifles of courage to protect me.
It's literally.
You saved me. You saved me. You saved me.
This was by far my favorite part of the con. Mex and Mort both dressed as f***ing King Harkinian from the old Zelda CDI games, or better known as the common clips used in tons of YouTube poops.
My boy, this peace is what all true warriors strive for. How can we help? I'm going to Gamelon to aid him. I'll take the Triforce of Courage to protect me. If you don't hear from me in a month, send Link. Enough. My ship sails in the morning. I wonder what's for dinner.
JD Puppy was also there, but he was wearing Mex. Apparently this isn't the first time they've done this either. They did this at MFF with a third friend, and I'm really bummed I didn't see them when I was there. If you saw them, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, when I went down, initially I was empty-handed, but ran back to my hotel room to grab Misha really quick and found them inside the lobby.
I wasn't gonna suit anymore. And then I was inspired.
We spent the rest of the evening walking around and being absolute goobers. Mex and Mort would only talk in the king's voice and were quoting things from the old games, with some variations like, "This Furlandia is what all true conventions strive for." I was also surprised at how many people understood the reference. I was worried it would be a certified gray muzzle moment and people wouldn't get it, but no. A lot of people were laughing, playing along, and reciting quotes back. We also made sure to hit the dance floor for a little bit. JD, Mex, and Mort's room to cool down and take a break. Glacier was also there in the room, and I feel kind of bad because we were really loud, so, sorry, Glacier. Anyways, after vibing for a bit, we headed back out, leaving JD to get some sleep when their third friend and stay-at-home king, Tahoe, would send a voice message.
Do that. Just show up. Just show up. Just be cool about it. Don't make a big scene about it. Just show up.
We headed back down for more shenanigans and laughs before I parted ways and headed back to my hotel room at around 11 p.m.
I was just gonna get some DoorDash and go to bed. That's not how I saw my Saturday night ending. I mean, I'm still gonna go get DoorDash and go to bed, but like 3 hours later now. But yeah, that was a super fun adventure. What is up with me and lights going out, Rowan? I'm right next to them. Anyway, on to Sunday, bye!
This was one of the best and funniest nights I've had in a long time. Considering the state of the world right now, and with Argo's treatment, truth be told, I've been in a rough spot as of late. I don't want to go into detail during a con recap, but I do want to say that I really needed a night like this, to have stupid fun with amazing friends. I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time, and having such a fun and silly night means the absolute world to me. Mex, Mort, JD, and Glacier, thank you all for making Saturday night as special as it was. Anyways, to wrap up the night, I got myself some food, watched some YouTube, and turned in for the night at around 2 a.m.
The last morning of Furlandia, it's Sunday. It's always bittersweet. I say it every single video, but it's true. This has been an absolutely fantastic weekend. Obviously, I have my gripes, that I will talk about in the video, but just overall, this has been a wonderful weekend. There's always good, there's always bad in cons, but the goods far outweigh the bads. And once again, it feels like every single con I've gone to, it's been like, this is my favorite con. No, this is my favorite con. This one, it's up there, man. Like, all of the shit that we did last night, that was so fun. But yeah, if you've been watching this whole recap, thank you. And yeah, take it away. Stills Misha, let them know what you were up to the rest of the day, because I recorded this in the morning, so I don't know what I did today. Bark.
After sleeping very not great, again, I forgot my melatonin, I got up early so I could pack my stuff and get it ready to move to JD, Mex, Mort, and Glacier's room. I wanted to stay for stuff later in the day, but my checkout time was at 11 a.m., so they agreed to let me stash my suit crate and suitcase in the room instead of leaving it in the hot car. I headed down to the lobby in my pajamas and met up with someone because they said they had something for me, and that thing was a plastic spoon. For context, I mentioned under the dues section of how to find me post that I would accept plastic spoons, so the fact that I actually got one made me laugh. After that, I went down to People Watch in the lobby with Glacier and another friend Vera before JD Puppy came down. We snapped a quick picture together before JD went with me to my hotel to help me check out and move my stuff. Mex and Mort were there too. We chatted for a bit before Mex had to go do Puppy for guest of honor stuff, and I went with JD and Mort down to the game room. We ended up playing a game called Just One, where one of us would have a word we couldn't see and the other two had to write down words to help lead the guesser to guessing the word. Normally everyone gets one board, but since we only had 3 of us, we had the writers get 2 boards. If 2 of the words were the same, those words would not be revealed to the guesser. So we had to choose words that would lead to the correct answer, but wouldn't be the same as the other person wrote down. This was a fun game. Some of the rounds had interesting results. After that, we met with Mex, and I got myself a rainforest shot glass, which I'll hopefully remember to show off during the dealer's den portion. We then went to Floor Wars, another dance-related event that Mex was super excited about and wanted me to experience. Now, I'd never been to any dance-related panels or events, as dance wasn't really my thing. That said, this event was super fun. In case you don't know, while the usual dance comp uses choreographed routines and music chosen by the dancers, Floor Wars puts 2 dancers against each other on songs chosen by furs running the event, and the dancers take turns coming up with dances to match the music on the spot. This isn't as easy as it may sound, and takes a ton of skill to be able to do. The energy in the room was electric, and the dancers were all really good. It was an exciting event to be at and experience live. One of my favorite things was just the sportsmanship of it all. The competitors were hugging afterwards and congratulating each other, win or lose. It was super awesome to see. The dancing side of furry wasn't ever something that I really paid attention to, but I definitely plan on checking it out much more at cons in the future. Thanks to Mex for showing me a new side of furry I hadn't experienced before. That said, after that, it was time to grab my stuff and start the drive home. Mex, Mort, JD, and Glacier helped me carry my stuff down to my car, and after chatting for a bit, trying to delay leaving as much as possible, it was time to go. So they all headed to lunch, and I headed home, and well, that was Furlandia 2025. It's a bittersweet moment that unfortunately had to come to a close. While sad in the moment, I wouldn't trade any of the memories and friends I made that weekend for the absolute world. On to the dealer's den haul. There was a lot of booths for a lot of interest, though I didn't spend much this time around, as not a lot of it appealed to me personally, but that's okay. Lots of people still bought lots of stuff, and there was something for everybody. It was also in a room that was way too small, but considering the venue, there wasn't much they could do about that. They had the artist alley right outside the dealer's den, so the line to gain access to this area was for both things, which was good in the sense that you only had to wait in line once, but bad if you wanted to just check the dealer's den or the artist alley. Furlandia in 2023 had them in separate spots, with the artist alley being right outside the main ballroom, but then again, 2023 had over 1,000 less people, so that likely wouldn't have worked again. Anyways, point being, they did their best with the layout they were given, and I still found things I wanted and many others did as well. It was a cute little dealer's den, and it was full of goodies for everybody. I'm also showing off this year's sponsor shirt, which is super cute. It's a combination of the past 10 years themes all into one, as this year was Time Machine. It's also a great look into Furlandia's past, and the various years and themes that have led to the successful con we know and love today. Okay, time for the criticism portion, because as much fun as it was, no con is ever perfect, and feedback from attendees is helpful for those deciding if they want to go or for staff to create a better con for next year. The good news is my complaints are very few and far between, as many of them will be fixed by default next year. More on that after this part. First and foremost, God, the lines. There were such long lines for everything. Registration, dealer's den, the dance comp, fursuit photo, fursuit parade, everything. The venue was not near big enough to accommodate the sheer amount of people that showed up to this con, and this caused massive traffic jams from the long lines sprawling through the lobby to people stopping for photos or doing silly fursuit stuff in the walkways. There wasn't much Furlandia could have done about this, and from an attendee's perspective, they did the best they could. No hate to the staff, thanks for doing what you could. Also, sorry if you hear construction noises in the background, they're working on my roof. Secondly, the reg system kept going down, causing even more delays and longer lines. Now this is kind of a FurCon staple at this point. The systems at every con seems to always go down at some point, but this happened multiple times throughout the day, which really adds up on the time taken. Now I'm not an IT guy, and my Twitch streams are held together by scotch tape, so I can't give any advice, and I also know that just run it better lol doesn't help anyone, but I feel like with there being that many crashes, it might be a good idea to look into potential fail-safes or quick fix solutions for next year's registration in hopes to make it go more smoothly. Lastly, the con's events were right up to the hour, which sounds fine on paper, but you have to factor in buffer time at the end of events for switching to the next panel and letting people come and go. For example, the yoga panel ran right up to the end time and thus the start time of dance battles, so it was a scramble to get the dancers and attendees in as quick as possible while the yoga people were leaving and trying to get everything set up while switching the room in just 5 to 10 minutes of time after the yoga panel to reset the room and check the dancers in would have made all the difference. Truth be told though, that's kinda it on complaints. Everything else about the con felt like it went smoothly. Staff were super friendly, the hotel workers were super nice, and the vibes of the entire weekend were good. Now, I mentioned earlier that the line con issues would be fixed by next year, and that's because Furlandia's moving. Furlandia has always taken place in the Sheraton Hotel, an airport hotel on the outside of Portland, but now it's moving to the much larger Hyatt Regency Portland. This is going to be a huge move, and makes me very excited to see what's to come. The venue is bigger, there's more available hotel rooms, and best of all, transit. There's a transit system that runs all through Portland that you can use for a mere $6 per day to explore all around if you want to get food somewhere or just want to check out the rest of the city. This also means that if you have to find a hotel that's a bit further from the venue, then it's still not a huge deal, since you can ride in via transit and be there super quick. It's sad to see Furlandia leave the venue it's grown in for the past decade, but the con has far outgrown it. The space felt crowded with a little over 1,000 people in 2023, and considering over 2,700 furries came to Furlandia this year, it was time for the con to move to a bigger venue and a brighter tomorrow. And rest assured, I'll be there to watch this amazing con continue to grow. For the last segment, would I recommend this con? Well, considering the venue move, it's truly hard to say, but if the vibes are anything like they have been in years past, I would absolutely recommend this con. It's a growing and flourishing con, but it still has that small con feel. It's been growing and flourishing, but it still has that small con feel of being able to strike up conversations with random people and hang out with new friends you make that weekend. It was super fun to just plop down on one of the couches and see who came up to say hi, hang out, and chat about anything and everything. Furlandia was the best con I've been back to, as every other time I've gone to a con it was a new place. That said, it still felt like a new and exciting experience while holding the familiarity of being back at a con I'd been at once before. It felt like being home. I love Furlandia both years I went, and it's absolutely a con I see myself going to for many years to come, and I hope sometime in the future to see you there as well. So we're to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed my Furlandia recap, and I hope you'll consider going to such an amazing con. If you were there, how did your con experience go? Let me know down in the comments below. That said, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Suddenly got good.